Okay, guys, Christian here. Welcome to this week's module. So we're on week 1, and this week's training module is the power of habit. So we're going to start straight off the back here. We're going to start looking at building in powerful habits. Okay. So look, why habits? Well, it's the gap between where you are now and where you want to be. There is a gap there, right? There is a gap that needs to be filled. Inside that gap, we need behavior. We need a certain behaviors that need to be ingrained, certain behaviors that need to be trained. So if you look at all our behaviors, right, our daily behaviors, our daily thought patterns and stuff, all of that has been trained, right, since growing up from being a child, right? You had to learn to brush your teeth. You weren't born brushing your teeth, right? You had to learn that. You had to learn to pee in the toilet. You had to learn to go for a poo. You had to learn to hold your poo in and to hold your pee in. You had to learn to brush your hair. You had to learn to shave. You had to learn to kick a ball. You had to learn to walk. See, all those automatic behaviors that you have now, that we have now, driving the car, like all that stuff that seems to happen on autopilot now, at some point, they weren't happening on autopilot. You didn't know those things. You had to learn. So you went in, right, and that filled the gap. So the gap between where you were when you first started, when you were born, and where you are now, in that gap, there is a set of trained habits, trained behaviors that you got really good at. So why habits, right? Look, they are essential to lasting long-term transformation. Essential. You've heard me talk about this, the analogy of the 3 little pigs, right? Like the smart pig builds a house of bricks. One by one, puts the bricks together, takes a little bit longer, but he builds a sturdy house. So when the big bad wolf comes along, he is unable to blow the house down. So building habits also, like, it frees up brain capacity, right? It allows you to perform better, to make stronger, clearer decisions that are empowering to you, right? Decisions that you want to be making to move towards this person that you are going to become, right? It creates, like, certain habits, like they create alertness. They create focus. Like, how often do we want this, right? We want more energy. We want to feel more alert. We want more consistency. These are all traits and things that any successful person has to possess. And that person had to train to be at that level. He has to become a master of his focus. He has to become disciplined. He has to become mentally alert. That doesn't just happen, right? We have to train ourselves. And in that training, we have habits, right? Habits also, like healthy, positive habits, empowering habits, help us create that mental, physical, and emotional stability, that mental, physical, emotional health, well-being, and strength. That these are all essential, like these are all traits that all successful people have in life. And getting in shape, losing weight, running a business, running a family is no different. So, look, motivation is what gets you started, right? Like everybody is motivated at the start. But believe me, this motivation isn't going to keep you going, right? Motivation comes and goes. It's a feeling. Like at the start, it's always there, right? When you've had this before, when you started any weight loss training and fitness or whatever program you've started in the past, you said, right, I'm going to do this. Motivation is what got you started, right? Right. And it's a motive, a reason for you to want to get started. But has that ever lasted? Like, ask yourself that question, right? Has it ever lasted? The answer is no, because motivation will fade. When it does fade, what are you left with? Like willpower motivation is not a long-lasting solution, because there are days you will feel unmotivated. So what we do is we focus on habits, right? Habit is what keeps you going long-term. Focusing on the daily process, hitting those numbers each day. So motivation is what gets you started. Habit is what keeps you going. So what else can habits do, right? See, making or breaking a habit actually involves neuroplastic change in your brain. Like this is a term known as neuroplasticity, right? Your brain, I want you to imagine, is like it's moldable, right? We can create new pathways in the brain, new neurons in the brain. We can connect new neurons. Like the brain chemistry can change. Like the shape of your brain changes. It's a muscle, right? In fact, it's the muscle that uses up the most energy in your body. More than any other muscle. Your brain uses the most energy. So creating new habits is like a foundation to creating new neurological pathways in your brain, right? To creating new patterns of thinking, new patterns of feeling, new patterns of behaving. So every time that you act in the same way, a specific neuronal pattern is stimulated and becomes strengthened in your brain. So we are going to become masters here of repetition, right? Like you've become a master at brushing your teeth because you've done it for years and years. You've become a master like at driving, right? You maybe drive a car or a truck or a lorry for years. You become good at it. Maybe it's like you're a pilot of an airplane. Like we become what we do, what we repeatedly do daily, we become experts at. So now we're going to start creating these habits that are going to train you. So you're going to be training and training in here. Like it's going to involve a lot of repetition of certain habits that will allow you and help you like not only feel amazing and re-energized and create a lot of more mental strength and focus and consistency and all that good stuff, but also we're building in new neuroplastic pathways, changing your brain's chemistry. So like I said, right, the brain uses up the most energy in your body, right? It's a muscle and it uses up like there are like the average person has over 60,000 thoughts a day. Now, it's actually way more than that. It's about double that. But the research that we have states that we have 60,000 thoughts a day. Women tend to have more. But there's a lot of energy that goes on in thinking, right? Like your body is a reflection of your thoughts, right? Your body is a reflection of your thoughts. Like your behaviors, your actions, your decisions, all stem from a thought. So if we can train your mind we're also training your body, right? We're training your body and training your mind, training your mind and training your body. Like, this is not just about training your body, it's about training both here. So I want you to look at, if you look at this slide, we've got a house, right? Now, in this house, we've got different rooms. So you've got the living room, bedroom, or whatever, right? So I want you to imagine, like, if we label these rooms, like if you imagine this is like your brain, right? And you've got different rooms. So one room could be the happy room. One room is a sad room. One room is a guilty room. One room is the overwhelmed room. One room is the confident room. One room is unconfident room. I don't know. Just using some examples here, right? But because, like, the room that you go to on autopilot is the room that you've created a neural pathway there. So because the brain likes to do what takes up less energy, it likes to save energy, because it knows that the brain uses a lot of power, it needs a lot of fuel. So once it's ingrained a pathway, it's built a path to a specific room, it will continue to go into that room because it's used to that. It's created a path now. It's easy. It uses up less energy. To go to a different room, it needs more energy, right? It needs to build a new pathway. So this is what habits, like the power of habits is, like by focusing on a specific habit and doing that repeatedly, what happens is we create a new neural pathway. So it becomes easier. Eventually, this habit becomes easier and easier and easier. So these habits have to be in alignment with where you want to go with this, right? Who you want to be. Like, remember what I said in the gap between where you are. So if we go back, the gap between where you are and where you want to be, there are habits. So look, you can actually accurately predict your future by looking at your daily habits. So if you look at your daily habits today, they will tell you what your future looks like. Now, you're going to get a separate training on the habit that we're going to focus on this week, the specific habit that we're going to be focusing on. The habit that I would like you to go away and train over the next 7 days. Now, there's going to be a lot of like doubt, like, oh, like you look, I'm going to reveal what the habit's going to be, but you might be think, oh, you know what? I've tried with habits before. Like, habits are hard to break, you know. Yeah, cool. Now, if you remember when you joined, I said, come here with an open mind. Just be willing to give everything a shot. Like, when you go out there and try and do different things, your mind is going to start to say, you know, what you're doing here, like, I don't like this. This is not safe. Take me back. Like, what am I doing this for? Doubt creeps in. Look, that's totally normal. Just do it anyway, right? What is the point? Look, had it from clients. Like, I can't see the benefits. I don't know what the benefits are. So I don't see the point in doing this. Yeah, totally understandable. I will show you what the benefits are of this specific habit that we're going to work on. This is just an overview of what habits, why habits are important and what they can do for you. But again, like you're not going to learn from watching this training. You're not really going to grow as a result of like thinking about stuff. You're going to grow as a result of doing stuff. You like the best teacher for you is yourself, right? You have to go out there and experience it and just do it, like regardless of what you think of whether you should or shouldn't do it. Just go out and do it. Give it a shot. Experience it. immerse yourself in experience, and see what happens, right? Just be curious, right? That's what I want you to be in this program, is like, be curious. Like, become instead of focusing on just the problems, like looking for problems all the time, looking for reasons why you don't have to do certain things, looking for reasons why it might not work. Like, be curious, right? That's like, what if I tried and done this? Like, what could happen? Start looking, becoming more solution based, right? How can I solve this problem now? I don't know. The answer, just go and do it. Let's go and do it. Give it a shot. Okay. So look, the action point from this training, like really short and sweet, right? The power of habits. Like, we're going to start training habits, right? We're going to start training on daily habits here. So go and watch the next training. There is going to be one habit that you're going to focus on. And I want you to go and experience this and actually do it. Like, let's remove that try word from it and just commit to doing it for the next 7 days. And then come up with a conclusion. We can discuss this on the call and see where you're at with it. Okay. All right. Speak soon.